We waited over 40 days for its return, and honestly, after taking a look at what we ended up getting, it was worth the wait. The Illusive Realm is finally back, and believe me when I say that it is better than ever. With many new additions across pretty much every part of the game mode, Kuro's transformed this roguelike power fantasy from a limited time event into one of the best recurring game modes in gacha gaming. And today we'll be taking the time to explore what changes they've made to spice up your overall experience and keep you coming back for more. Some could say that version 1.4 is a filler patch because there isn't a continuation of the main story, but this game mode is anything but filler. As always, if you're enjoying this content, please hit that like and subscribe button. Starting 1.4's Illusive Realm has a few more requirements compared to prior versions. You'll have to complete the first short quest in the main event where you get an opportunity to meet Lumi and figure out what's causing problems for our two favorite cats and the Somnoir as a whole. This only takes around 10 to 15 minutes, and then you'll be able to access all of the Illusive Realm's different difficulties, as long as you clear the one before that. The last two difficulty levels at 95 and 100 are still time-gated, and will be unlocked weekly across the patch. This version's edition of the Illusive Realm is heavily integrated with the story of the main event, and features all of those characters you see in the version's splash art. Unfortunately, since the main event is time-gated, this also means that you'll experience some story spoilers when interacting with those characters at the start of each run, so I highly recommend skipping these conversations at the start and end of each run if you're trying to avoid spoilers. When it comes to all of its new features, the first item of note is the incredible number of new characters you'll have available. They've basically added every person on the roster aside from Havoc Rover and Alto, and they're bringing with them a massive number of new achievements and Astrite for clearing any difficulty with them. That also means a massive number of unique skill upgrades to spice up their baseline gameplay. It's a lot of replayability. Memes, on the other hand, which are difficulty modifiers that either added buffs to your character or the enemies in exchange for decreased or increased rewards, won't be available until you complete the first 3 difficulties. Many of these memes are similar to what we've seen in the past, with one terrifying new addition, capping your character's health to 100 HP while at the same time preventing you from getting knocked out as long as your Symphony rank, built up from landing and dodging attacks, is at max rank. This gives you the highest reward modifier out of all the memes, but can be a very frustrating or surprising experience, especially if you picked it by accident. When it comes to your Concerto companions, or the allies you can call in once your gauge is filled, nothing much has changed here aside from the fact that you're no longer able to skip their recruitment conversations. This might be an unintended change considering how most other dialogues are skippable. Bridged Dreamscape doors are where you recruit them, so make sure you don't accidentally miss out if you want to fill up your team. From what I've gathered on my runs, there haven't been any new Concerto companions added in this update, and you won't be able to recruit one until the very first stage, as they've been replaced in the starting train by an NPC that grants you one of 2 very powerful tokens. There have been a massive number of new tokens added in this update, so make sure you expand the description for these, as their condensed ones aren't very clear on what they actually do, how they scale, or how you activate them. When it comes to Echo skills and their ramping upgrades, there haven't been any new additions here either, making metaphors, or the cards that upgrade your character's stats or add new abilities, the main new additions when it comes to character progression. Kuro's added a fair number of these across all the attributes, adding even more replayability across runs. However, when it comes to replayability, there's something else that Kuro added to the Illusive Realm, and that's its weekly resetting rewards that grant players a massive number of echoes, overworld ascension materials, and mob mats. Every week, you'll refresh up to 12 claimable rewards after you defeat a boss in the Illusive Realm. What that means is that the average player can simply complete runs in the Illusive Realm to build up their upgrade materials instead of farming the overworld, directly addressing the many complaints players have made about the inefficiency and annoyances of farming mobs like exiles or grinding TDs for echoes. You can get everything you need in just 4 runs a week at the current max difficulty, as there are 3 bosses total. The Illusive Realm is also completely permanent across the entire update, and we can imagine it'll stay permanent for the rest of the game with this new feature. But that's not all when it comes to the updates. There's also been a completely new tile set added, and this one is easily the most post-apocalyptic looking of all, with ravaged terrain and an absurd number of broken sedans littering the landscape. Instead of breaking flamingos or veined rocks, like in the previous tile sets, you'll be breaking wooden crates to discover hidden cats for metaphors, or dream fragments to use in the shop. If you missed the previous version's tile sets, don't worry, they'll still be available in your runs. Kuro isn't taking anything away in these updates, they're only adding. When it comes to the contents of all the different doors, there have been some major changes here as well. Version 1.2 added a ton of variety to doors like Memory of Dreaming and Memory of the Unknown, with a wide array of new minigames, and 1.4 has brought with it a lot more variation in their Memory of Training doors, fully utilizing the unique new tile sets to incorporate things like high-speed dashing as you fight enemies for your character's skill upgrades. There have also been plenty of new additions to the Memory of Unknown doors as well, like a minigame where you attack cars for random rewards, like dream fragments, metaphors, or even a brand new mob. Watch out for jump scares here. When it comes to the final bosses of all the difficulties, they're all heavily story related, so I won't be spoiling their reason for being here. Just know that the Fallacy of No Return, complete with its incredibly annoying moveset in its second phase, will be the last boss of difficulty 4. So try to break this bastard as fast as possible unless you want one of the biggest headaches in gacha gaming. There's little that feels worse than fumbling an Illusive Realm clear by getting KO'd on the final boss. The hologram version of the Inferno Rider is also the final boss of difficulty 3, and he is an insane difficulty spike compared to the rest of the enemies. I wiped several times and embarrassed myself live. Don't let it happen to you. Those are most of the changes while you're in the roguelike mode, but there have been an absurd number made outside of it, particularly in its general upgrades. Nearly all of the prior version's upgrades, like increased damage, HP, resets, and level boosts, have remained the same, but there have been many more upgrades added as you pan your screen to the right. Upgrades like the Metaphor Shop reset, critical rate boosts and conversion to critical damage when capped, and even more damage and survivability upgrades. This is an insane amount of power, but knowing that there's a level 100 difficulty, we might need all of it. However, do keep in mind that grabbing all of these upgrades as soon as possible could heavily trivialize the current level 90 difficulty, as even with half of the skill tree active, there's not a huge amount of challenge here. However, these upgrades aren't the only reward you get for completing a run. There's still the Illusive Realm shop, and believe me when I say that this shop is absolutely stacked. A massive number of mob materials, skill upgrade materials, and of course, the invisible weapon skins on top of the insane Astrite, experience, credit, and echo rewards. Unfortunately, some of the best rewards are locked until the final difficulty is released, but that'll be only 2 weeks from now. It's safe to say that this is the biggest shop yet, and will streamline an insane amount of character progression, much like the Parade of Stars event we had back in version 1.3. The devs did, in fact, listen, and they've been listening for a very long time. Overall, this Illusive Realm update has added some of the best features we've seen across gacha roguelikes, with the main factor being the incredible incentives they've given to replay the mode. Illusive Realm runs are, in my opinion, a lot more fun than grinding overworld mobs, but Kuro's still given their player base options on how to attain their mats. While there haven't been as many new additions on the echo skill or companion side, many aren't feeling that absence at all given the other ways Kuro spiced up this mode. As always, if you enjoyed this content, please hit that like and subscribe button. Peace out.